always fascinated me. I've always been a man of questions, many questions. You know, even thinking about that word, as somebody who critically thinks a lot of the time about various things, language definitely in the forefront of my curiosities. Quest. We're going on a quest for the truth. Posing a question. It's interesting. I remember lying down in the grass and looking up at the sun and the sky and wondering what was up there past all that. Wondering where I was, how did I get here? And I remember I had a Spiderman watch, and I must have been 6 or 7. And I remember looking down at this little Spiderman watch and realizing that it wasn't really mine. I was borrowing the Spiderman watch. I didn't realize at the time that it's not a normal thought for a little kid to have. But I've just always had an insatiable hunger for the truth. I found myself pretty close to it a few times. It's elusive. It doesn't like to be explained. I don't like to put God in a box anyway. Though I openly tangle with him on certain things. But it's one of those things where it's be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. So, knowing that, I don't regret my mindset. But I did learn some things that would ultimately change the course of my destiny forever, because there are certain truths that once learned, the individual can't unlearn. It's like the infamous red and blue pill scenario. Ignorance might be bliss. But that's not enough for me. I would rather get sucker punched by the truth than tucked in by ignorance. Well, I may come to regret that, but I haven't yet, and I found there really is some force, some universal force that is embedded in all of this. It's like threaded through the fabric of time and space, and whether it's pulling the strings or it is the strings, I find it just fascinating. I find it fascinating. I feel very blessed to be alive. I definitely feel blessed to be alive. I felt that I used to have an inflated sense of purpose, maybe even grandiosity. I feel like I've come to terms with a lot of that. I used to think I was the chosen one, like I was Jesus Christ or something. And then I realized that I am Jesus, but so are you. And I wasn't the one, I was simply a one. And then I started to become the zero. And that's what I've been toying with off and on since becoming enlightened when I was 16 years old. I often equate the experience to Eckhart Tolle's experience. It truly was as if God just touched his finger right on my head, and all of this universal knowledge came flooding in. Things I had no business knowing just made perfect sense. Space-time continuum, for example, numerology took on a whole new understanding and depth, almost becoming a religion of sorts. Because there's an underlying truth in numbers. It cannot be falsified. It cannot be misinterpreted. Though that's being put to the test as of late with 2 plus 2 equals 5 stuff. But numerology, you know, it wasn't until the Egyptians came up with the concept of zero that we correctly created a calendar. We didn't have a concept of nothing. We had the concept of something, but no thing didn't compute. So, you know, zero. You can have no thing, and you can have one. Of course, from that split came everything. That was the Big Bang. That was the moment when. And from then on, the 3, the 4, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But that jump from 0 to 1, often misinterpreted as the jump from 1 to 2, that is what's imperative. That shaped everything, I believe. It's the 3, the trinity, right? It's the nothing, the one thing, the everything. It's also the symbolism behind a set of numbers that has followed me around for years and years and years. 129, 129. And to me, that is the Trinity. It explains everything. The jump from 1 to 2 and then to 9, which is essentially infinity, right? After 9, it repeats itself with the 1, 0 and numerology, but it's the intrinsic beginning that led to all of this. I believe we are either destined to go back and learn from, or maybe it's inevitable and we can't actually change things. I like to think that it's not true. I like to think that I am the captain of my soul. I realize these are all somewhat incongruent thoughts. You know, usually the psilocybin takes a lot longer to kick in, but it's already starting to make its presence known. I still believe I'm here for a purpose. I want to learn what that purpose is. Well, it's toying with